What's up, guys? It's Cody Brockway back with another episode of Brockway's Vinyl Bites. Yeehaw! And of course, we have Mr. Kermit the Frog over here. He's actually straddling my EVH Wolfgang special guitar. Anyway, he's happy to be here just like I am. So what we're talking about today is I've pulled out a couple of live albums that I am a really, really big fan of and bands that I love. Naturally, if we were to pick out all the live albums that I love, I'd probably have 100 of them here. But I had to whittle some down, so naturally that means, unfortunately, leaving some other ones out, despite their greatness. But they will make, there will be room for them in other videos too. There might be some classic live albums that you love probably just as much as I do, and you might go, "Why is it not in his list?" Trust me, it is in my list, but it'll be on another future video. So let's get to it. We're going to start off with what I would consider to be my favorite live album of all time. Those of you that know me know that I am a huge Genesis fan, and so naturally we have to start this off with Seconds Out. Just a fucking masterpiece. Sorry, mind my language, but you know it's a masterpiece if you've ever heard it. This is the first tour, maybe the second tour. Sorry, yeah, I guess it's the second tour when Phil Collins had taken over as the singer for Genesis. This is actually the second Genesis live album. They've done probably 4 or 5, but the first one was Genesis Live that they'd done with Peter Gabriel just 3 years previously. And this is they were actually in the mixing stage of this album when Steve Hackett decided he would leave the band. He probably heard the mix and realized that Tony wasn't turning him up loud enough, so he was like, "I'm outie." But no, for real, this is an incredible album. This is one of the best sounding live albums. The track listing's great. We got Squonk, The Carpet Crawl, Robbery, Assault and Battery, Afterglow, Firth the Fifth, I Know What I Like, The Lamb Lies Down on Broadway, the closing section of The Musical Box, Supper's Ready, Cinema Show, Dance on a Volcano, and Los Endos. So we got Phil Collins, Mike Rutherford, Steve Hackett, Tony Banks, Chester Thompson, and Bill Bruford on various tracks. So yeah, I think Bill plays on the Cinema Show. But anyway, my favorite live album, arguably my favorite live album of all time, Seconds Out by Genesis. Moving on to a Canadian band. You might have assumed that I would pick All the World's a Stage, which is a record that I love. But today, I decided I would go for this one. Exit Stage Left. This is Rush, of course. This was recorded all over the States, as to where All the World's a Stage was actually recorded in Massey Hall in Toronto. That's going to be in a future video, don't you worry about that. I'm going to have to probably do a couple parts of this live album series, but yeah, this is a great album, produced by Terry Brown. Cool artwork. I actually have the Funko Pop album edition of this. Pretty sweet. Great album. Great playing. Great band. Okay, so we're going to go back to 1972 here. This is actually a really good release. They had put out an album called Yes Songs, or from the same tour. But I find the sound of this one to be actually better than Yes Songs. This is Progeny. This is Highlights from 72. This is by Yes, of course, and it's just incredible. So this is, I guess this is the first tour with Alan White. Yeah, this is from the same tour as the Yes Songs. But the sound on this is really good. Of course, so are the performances. We got Siberian Khatru, I've Seen All Good People, Heart of the Sunrise, Mood for a Day, and You and I, Close to the Edge, excerpts from Six Wives of Henry VIII, Roundabout, and Yours Is No Disgrace. So a lot of these songs are on Yes Songs too, but you know, and Yes Songs is also a great album. I could have picked that too. I love the playing on that, but the sound of this is so damn good. Had to pick that. Great artwork. I wish I had the big 14-disc box set that came out, but Wallet says no. We're going to go a little bit more recent, but not as recent as we're going to go in further releases here. This is from 2001. We got Iron Maiden's Rockin' Rio. So yeah, Bruce Dickinson and Adrian Smith were back in the band after a couple of years away, and with various different lineup changes in between. This is a great live album, and if you're getting into Maiden, this is a good place to start you. Some people might say Live After Death, and they also wouldn't be wrong. That's also an incredible album. So are some of the newer ones that have come out after this, but this was my pick for today. I love this album. Love all the songs on it. It's just great. It's a double disc. They had just done the Brave New World record, and they were really celebrating it on here, but they had lots of classics on there too, like Wrathchild, 2 Minutes to Midnight, The Trooper, you know. But this is just fantastic. This, and the home DVD that came out is good as well. Going to 1972 again. Yeah, you probably figured I would put this one up on here. This is the Grateful Dead Europe 72. This is a great album. The songs aren't super long on this, but there's a lot of great tunes. We got Cumberland Blues, He's Gone, One More Saturday Night, Jack Straw, Mr. Charlie, Sugar Magnolia, and arguably the greatest version ever of Morning Dew. I mean, that's worthy of buying the CD just on that track alone. Awesome. Great album. Love it. And Steven Wilson just remixed it about a year ago, too, so that's very interesting. The sound of that is really good, too. This is not the Steven Wilson remix. While we're on board with Steve's, we're going to go to an album from 2013. That's Steve Hackett, Genesis Revisited, live at the Hammersmith. So I guess this was from his first full-on Genesis Revisited tour that he started doing around that time, and the whole show was Genesis top to bottom. No solo stuff, it's just all Genesis. And this is a really good one. I've got all of his live albums, but this is really up there for me. This has got the DVD in it as well. So 3 CDs, 2 DVDs. Really interesting. I would have loved to be there. I would have loved to have been there, but I wasn't. Anyway, the musical box, Shadow of the Hierophant. There is a solo tune. Dancing with the Moonlit Night, Flying a Windshield, Entangled, 11th Earl of Mars, Supper's Ready. Just a whole bunch of great Genesis classics from the 70s. And with his stellar band, as per usual. I'd see him 7 times after that came out. We're going to go newer, very new. Like this came out, I guess it was this year this came out. Yep, this year. So they finished up the tour last year, and this band sort of said goodbye. And I was kind of upset to see them go, but I realized why they did it pretty recently. So this is from the last tour from Transatlantic. This is The Final Flight, live at the Olympia Theater, or live at l'Olympia. And it's awesome. We got Roy Stolt, we got Pete Trewavas from Marillion, we got Neil Morris, and of course Mike Portnoy. And I guess I realize now the reason that this band went back on the shelf again was because Mike was returning to Dream Theater. But this is really incredible, and this comes with the Blu-ray. Just a fantastic watch. They play the whole Absolute Universe album, which had just come out in 2021, I guess, and they played it all live on the tour. And a couple of other transatlantic classics like the Whirlwind Suite, We All Need Some Light Now. We All Need Some Light, and I love that tune. And the final medley, which is Duel with the Devil, My New World, All of the Above, and Stranger in Your Soul. Great release. Get it while you can. We're going to 1994. I guess it was released in 1995, but one of my all-time favorites really is Pink Floyd Pulse. I love this. I love this so much. No, it's not the one that comes with the light. So this is the David Gilmour, Richard Wright, Nick Mason lineup of the band. There's no Roger Waters. But they do the whole Dark Side of the Moon live on this and various other great Pink Floyd tracks, including some of the newer ones at the time. So they did stuff from the Division Bell, like What Do You Want From Me? They do... oh my gosh, this is hard to read. It's been a long time since I've heard this, but they do Coming Back to Life, yeah, and A Great Day for Freedom, High Hopes, bunch of new stuff. Keep Talking, bunch of new stuff at the time from the Division Bell record. I love this very much. We got the book. Very nice. Very nice indeed. Well done, Pink Floyd. We're going back to 1979. I've talked about this one on the channel before, I think, but it's a great album. Judas Priest, Unleashed in the East. My God, what great performances on this. We got Exciter, Running Wild, The Green Man Alicia with the Two-Pronged Crown, which is actually a Fleetwood Mac song. Diamonds and Rust, Victim of Changes, arguably the definitive version of that song. Delivering the Goods, Hellbent for Leather. This has got the bonus tracks. Starbreaker, great album. We're going back to 1972 with one of the most influential live albums of all time. Of course, we've got 1973. This was released. My mistake. But we've got Deep Purple, Made in Japan. Pretty great album. I don't think anyone will argue that. Highway Star, Child in Time, Smoke on the Water, The Mule, Strange Kind of Woman, Lazy, Space Truckin'. But these are all extended versions of the tracks. So it's a pretty long album, but one of the things I also really like about this, the band is playing so freaking good on this album. There's no overdubs on it. There's one single overdub, and it's because Ian Gillan, the singer, actually tripped over a microphone cord. And so he had to put an overdub in there to get rid of him going, from almost falling on the stage. But other than that, it's completely live, as you heard it in the audience that night. And I cannot tell you how much I love that in a live album. Very good. 1971, ELP, Pictures at an Exhibition. I've met Carl Palmer before. I'm a big fan of this band, and of course they took this classical piece that Keith Emerson and Carl Palmer loved so much and turned it into a whole thing, put it out live. This is like their third album. They put this out, their third album in like 2 years. They put this out. Sold a couple million records, you know. Classical heavy rock. It's just unbelievable. And Greg Lake put lyrics over certain bits of the piece. But this is the whole Pictures at an Exhibition piece played live by the band, 1971. This is Prague Heaven. Great album. We have one more from the 70s and then one more special thing that we're going to talk about right after this one. So I'm going to pull out a Frank Zappa album, but you probably think I'm going to pull out Roxy and Elsewhere or Zappa in New York or whatever. And those are some of my all-time favorite albums, actually. But this one, I had to pick this. You Can't Do That on Stage Anymore, Volume 2, the Helsinki tapes. This is just fantastic. I mean, like, if you liked the Roxy and Elsewhere album so much, then you're going to love this, too. It's the same lineup. We got Approximate, Dupree's Paradise, the Dog Breath Variations, Echidna Zarfa, View, Village of the Sun. Don't you ever watch that thing, which would ironically be the track that Phil Collins would hear. That would make him decide to bring Chester Thompson into the Genesis fold. He was playing with Frank Zappa here. They do a killer version of Stinkfoot, Inca Roads, Montana. Oh, this is just fantastic. I'm gonna go have to listen to this after we're done here. I have the vinyl box set of this too. But if you've never heard this and you're a Zappa fan, get on it. That's that classic 1973, 1972 era lineup of the Mothers too. Now we're on to the special surprise. These two CDs I'm about to show you are actually from two concerts that I went to in one weekend pretty recently, but back in the summertime, and it was Metallica on the M72 tour. I drove all the way to Montreal with my now ex-girlfriend, but anyway, I drove all the way to Montreal with her to go see Metallica, and it was the most fun weekend that I've ever had in my life. So the first night was the Friday night that they played. It's the no-repeat weekend, so they had two openers on Friday that were totally different than the two openers who played with them on Sunday. So Friday night we got Pantera and Mammoth Wolfgang Van Halen, okay? That Sunday we had Five Finger Death Punch and Ice Nine Kills. And all bands were great, but Metallica brought the fucking heat. I'm telling you, woo! I'm getting hot even thinking about it. And both nights were completely different set lists. So here's night one from Montreal. We got Creeping Death, Harvester of Sorrow, Leper Messiah, Until It Sleeps, 72 Seasons, If Darkness Had a Sun, Kirk and Rob's Doodle, which is like the solo thing that they would do on stage. It's only like a minute long. Fade to Black, Shadows Follow, Orion, Nothing Else Matters, Sad But True, The Day That Never Comes, Hardwired, Fuel, Seek and Destroy, and Master of Puppets. That was night one. What a freaking concert that was. Oh my gosh. And night two, they brought even more of the heat. It was like, oh, we were just so into it. I met some really cool friends at the venue that night too, actually, fellow Ontarian people like me. I hope they're watching. But anyway, so night two, we had a day off in between. I'm like, why would they split the shows up like that? And then I realized when I woke up on Saturday morning, it's like, oh yeah, that's why. It was neck recovery day. Anyway, on the Sunday show, we had Whiplash, For Whom the Bell Tolls, Ride the Lightning, Dirty Window, deep cut from St. Anger there, Lux Eterna, Too Far Gone, Kirk and Rob's Doodle again, Welcome Home Sanitarium, You Must Burn, The Call of Cthulhu, No Leaf Clover. Oh man, No Leaf Clover. Oof. Wherever I May Roam, Moth into Flame, Battery, Whiskey in the Jar, One, and Enter Sandman. You know, when I think back and talk about this weekend, I just can't really contain my excitement, especially when looking at these CDs. These are the actual soundboard recordings of the concerts. And if you were at the Metallica shows and you want to get yourself a copy of the soundboard recordings, go right on their website, and that's the only place you can get them, but you can get them from there, Nux.net, whatever. It was the most fun I've probably ever had that weekend. We met some great people at the shows and people I'm still friends with to this day, so I'm very, very grateful about that. Anyway, yeah, so that is this episode of talking about live albums that have impacted me in such a great way. And of course, there's many more live albums to talk about, so sometime in the future we're going to talk about more of those. That's when we'll get our Live After Death and All the World's a Stage and all that, but I had to pick these, just incredible, you know. Just incredible for a small amount. I managed to pack a lot of great music in here. So, well, now is the chance for you to let me know what your favorite live album list would look like. So tell me in the comments. I'd love to hear from you, and maybe it'll give me inspiration for my next live album video whenever I choose to do that. All right, well, from Kermit the Frog and I, Cody Brockway, owner of Second Chance Records in Caledonia, 20 Argyle Street North, thank you. Like and subscribe. We'll see you next time. All right. Peace in, motherfucker!